This video is a tutorial on how to crochet a shamrock in rows. If you prefer to crochet a shamrock in the round, you can view a link to the video in the description below. On screen you will see our finished product of what the shamrock will look like after we sew it together, and also the materials you need to create a shamrock, which include a number 4 lightweight green yarn, a 5mm crochet hook, an embroidery needle, and scissors. Now let me show you what the shamrock will look like before you sew it together in the center. We're going to create a shamrock in a row. So we're going to create a line that will then be folded together in the center. And on that line we're going to crochet 3 leaves using the top loop Tunisian stitch and a stem. And then at the end we're going to put it together and sew up the center so that it appears like the shamrock. Alright, let's begin with our yarn. And we're going to make a slip knot onto our hook. To create a slip knot, we are going to find the tail end of the yarn and bend it to the right, so that the tail end is on bottom, working end is on top, and we will turn the bend in the yarn. Then I'll stick my fingers through and grab another bend of the tail end. And that bend is what I will secure onto my hook. And then the pattern calls me to chain 13. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through. And I'm going to do that 13 times. So chaining 13 allows us to then have 12 single crochets. So I'm going to single crochet into my second chain from the hook. Now I can chain into or insert my hook into any part of that chain. I'm going to do so in the front loop. Once I inserted my hook into the chain, I'm going to yarn over and pull through just the chain, so 2 loops are on my hook, yarn over, pull through. And I've created a single crochet. I'll do it again. Insert my hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through just the chain, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, single crochet. Let me do it again. Insert my hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and I've done 3 single crochets. I'm now going to continue working single crochets down my chain, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I've now gotten to the end of my 12 single crochets, and I can count from the beginning to make sure I have 12. To find my single crochet, I'll look for 2 horizontal bars that sit above 2 vertical bars. Then I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm now going to create my first leaf. So how I'm going to create the leaf is by working a top loop Tunisian stitch. So I'm going to chain 6, and then I'm going to make a foundation Tunisian stitch, and then I'm going to work 5 more top loop Tunisian stitches down my single crochets, working 2 of them into each of the single crochets. So let me begin my first leaf by chaining 6. Again, I yarn over and pull through. 1, 2, and to create my foundation Tunisian stitch, I can insert my hook into any part of my chain. I'm going to do so on the front loop here. So I'm going to skip the one and insert my hook into the second chain from my hook. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through, leaving those 2 loops on my hook. Before I insert my hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through. So now I have 3 loops, and I insert my hook into the next one, yarn over, pull through. And I keep with that pattern, keeping the loop on the hook each time that I yarn over and pull through. So at this point, I've gone through all the chains and I have 6 loops on my hook. I then am going to insert my hook into the single crochet, the first one in this row, yarn over and pull through just a single crochet. So I completed my forward pass of the Tunisian stitch, and I'm now going to work the reverse pass. So I yarned over and pulled through just the single crochet, and now I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops repeatedly until I have just 1 loop left on my hook. And that creates my foundation Tunisian stitch. And now I'm going to work the top loop Tunisian stitch. So now your unit of stitches consists of a vertical bar, one in front, the other in back, and some horizontal bars that sit on top of it. You'll see several. Now I want to work into one of the top loops. I'm going to put my hook into the one on the very top, but you can do it on any of those 3 that sit horizontally. So let me put my hook into the first top loop. Now the one I've chosen to go into will be difficult for me to put the hook into. So if you'd rather have it be easier, you can go into a different horizontal loop. So after I insert my hook into it, I yarn over and pull through, leaving 2 loops on my hook when I insert my hook into the next one. Then I yarn over and pull through. That pattern is the same with our Tunisian stitch. So each time I insert my hook into the horizontal bar, and then I yarn over and pull through. Once I have 6 loops on the hook, it indicates that I have gone through all of them. So I'm going to insert my hook back into the single crochet that I worked into previously, yarn over and pull through. Completed my forward pass, I will do my reverse pass by yarning over and pulling through 2 loops until I have 1 loop on my hook. So now the pattern is the same for the next 2 single crochets. I'm going to do 2 front loop Tunisian stitches into the next 2 single crochets. Again, I look for that horizontal bar. I'm going to put my hook into the one that's difficult to put into. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through just that stitch. Insert my hook into the next one, yarn over, pull through. I have 6 loops. I insert my hook now into the next single crochet. So here I have 2 front loop Tunisian stitches worked in there, and I'm going to go into the next single crochet, yarn over and pull through just a single crochet, and then yarn over and pull through 2 repeatedly. And go into the next one. Some techniques that I'm using when using the Tunisian stitch is to keep my stitches loose. That can help prevent curling if you start pulling it tight. It can help the stitch curl. And I'm going to work my reverse pass. When working the reverse pass, something that might happen is that you yarn over and pull through multiple stitches. And then you'll see that these two stitches come together, these two loops are together in it. So I want to back up, and I'll take my hook out and start to pull out loosely so I can insert my hook back where I was. Then I can yarn over and pull through two. So just noticing each time I yarn over and pull through two, and then I'll see that each part of the stitch is a different unit. Alright, so now I have 4 Tunisian stitches worked, and I need to create 2 more to complete my leaf of my clover. And noticing how difficult it is for me to insert my hook into the next stitch. If you'd rather not fight it, remember you can insert your hook into the different horizontal bar of your stitch. And I insert my hook, yarn over, pull through. And this time I'm going to work into the next single crochet. So I count that I have 6, I insert my hook into the next single crochet and yarn over and pull through 2 for my reverse pass. Let me begin my final forward pass of my last top loop Tunisian stitch. And after I have 6 loops, I insert my hook back into that single crochet and I yarn over and pull through 2 all the way down my reverse pass. Once I have 1 loop left on my hook, I need to slip stitch down this leaf because my hook and yarn is on top of the leaf and you need to get it back down to the center of my shamrock. So to work a slip stitch, I'm going to insert my hook back in that same loop that I had been inserting my hook into. And then instead of working a Tunisian stitch, I'm going to yarn over and pull through both loops on my hook. And go into the next part of my stitch. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Insert it into the next one. To do a slip stitch, I yarn over and pull through both loops. And I'm going to keep doing this down the leaf until I'm back at the center. So here's my last part of my Tunisian stitch, and now I need to slip stitch into that single crochet, that same one. So I insert my hook into it, yarn over, and pull through. And then I need to work into my second leaf. So I'm going to insert my hook into the next single crochet, yarn over, and pull through. And at this point, I am going to repeat the pattern of creating the 6 chains, working the foundation Tunisian stitch, and then working 5 subsequent top loop Tunisian stitches. So let's work through the next 2 leaves, and I'll meet you where we're going to finish and create the stem. And now I've created my 3 leaves, and now it is time for me to create a stem. You'll start to notice, since we are working the leaves all on the same side, that the work is starting to curl, which will help us later when we sew the middle together. So here I have just finished slip stitching down my Tunisian stitch, and I have yet to move my work into the next single crochet. So I've slip stitched into that base single crochet. I'm going to slip stitch into the next single crochet, and that concludes my leaf pattern. At the start of the stem pattern, I am going to now slip stitch into the next single crochet and chain 8. Now the stem just consists of a foundation Tunisian stitch. So let me insert my hook into the second chain from my hook, yarn over and pull through. Insert into the next one, yarn over, pull through. And I'm going to keep with this pattern until I have 8 loops on my hook. I started with 8 chains, and now I am going to have 8 loops on my hook when I am done with my forward pass. So 2, 4, 6, 8. And then I'm going to insert my hook back into the single crochet at the base, yarn over and pull through just the single crochet. And now I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops 8 times to finish my reverse pass of my foundation Tunisian stitch. And when I'm finished with that reverse pass, I will have just 1 loop on my hook. There you can see I have formed my stem, and now again I need to slip stitch down the stem of my shamrock by inserting my hook into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling through 2. Insert, yarn over, pull through. And I'm going to continue down the stem of my shamrock. Alright, that was the last part of my Tunisian stitch. Let me slip stitch into that single crochet and into the next one. And now my pattern tells me to fasten off. So I already have cut the end of my working end. So let me insert my hook just in close to my last slip stitch. And then you would cut your yarn. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through and pull that working end through. So now you'll see that I have 2 tails that I'm going to use to sew together my shamrock in the center. So then it is closed and the shamrock is created. So to do the sewing, I am going to grab my embroidery needle. And let me start with my longer tail. So I'm going to put the yarn through the embroidery needle. And now to sew the shamrock together in the center, I'm going to go back to my first chain stitch back in the beginning, and I'm going to insert my hook into it. And then I'm going to sew the yarn down the foundation chain, going forward to back. Every so often I'll tighten it so it begins to close up into the center. Alright, I've gotten back to the beginning again. So I'm going to pull my yarn through and begin to cinch up that hole in the center. Once the center hole has closed, I can weave that working end through, because if I don't weave it through, it can begin to unravel. So I can just feed it through front to back, hiding the tail of it. And as I weave it through, the bends that I'm putting in the yarn will help secure the tail so it won't unravel. As I'm working to weave it through, if I wanted to create this or turn it into a little ornament, have something to hang on, I can weave this working end up to the top of my shamrock. Where I can put a little knot into it and then use it to hang like an ornament. And I want to do the same with my slip knot that I began with. So again, I'll want to put this onto my embroidery needle. And when it is on my embroidery needle, I will work so to hide the slip knot tail. I've already secured the center, so I don't need to worry about that. So I'm just going to choose to work the tail and down my stem. And then once I have woven it through about 10 times through, I can confidently cut off the tail. Continue to hide this tail so then I can hang it up. And now I have completed the shamrock. So if there's any part of the pattern that you wish to review, take a look down in the description below where you'll see timestamps. You can jump forward or back and review any part of working the shamrock in rows.